When David's arm is touched, nerve endings in his skin are stimulated, sending a signal into nerves traveling up the arm and shoulder and ultimately into the brain. Let's look inside with Dr. Roten to see how these signals travel through the nervous system. Here we see the nerves from the arm passing through the shoulder before they enter the spine, which is beneath these muscles. Some nerve fibers transmit sensation signals from the arm and hand to the brain, while other fibers transmit commands from the brain to the muscles to control movement. These are the bones of the neck, called vertebrae, as seen from the front. Not only do these bones hold up our head, but they also protect the spinal cord, which is the superhighway connecting the brain to the nerves of the body. A serious injury of the neck can interrupt signals transmitted to and from the brain, causing paralysis and loss of sensation for nerves below the level of injury. We are looking at two vertebrae from the side. Each of these gaps between spinal vertebrae has a nerve root passing into the spine. Sometimes nerves get pinched in this location, causing pain, weakness, or numbness that may require an operation. In this view, the muscles have been removed so that we can now see several nerves entering the spine behind the vertebral artery, which provides blood flow to the brain. Here we are looking at these nerves from behind, and the bones of the spine have been opened. After entering the spine, the nerves disappear into a thin tubular sac that contains the spinal cord, called the dura. The dura has now been removed, and we can see the nerves entering the spinal cord. Once inside the spinal cord, the signals from these nerves are transmitted upwards towards the brain. Looking at the brain from the side, we have opened the brainstem to see the fibers transmitting touch sensation, called the medial lemniscus. The fibers from the spinal cord connect to a cluster of neurons in the lower brainstem, known as a nucleus, which sends the signals upward into the medial lemniscus. The fibers of the medial lemniscus cross to the opposite side right after this nucleus, so that an injury to one side of the brain causes loss of sensation to the opposite side of the body. Here we see the medial lemniscus traveling through the upper part of the brainstem. After traveling through the medial lemniscus in the brainstem, sensory impulses arrive at the next relay station known as the thalamus. Nuclei of the thalamus then send fibers carrying sensory information higher into the brain within the white matter, here referred to as the internal capsule. Looking at the deep layers of the brain from the side, we see how sensory information processed in the thalamus travels towards the cerebral cortex in white matter tracts called the internal capsule and the corona radiata. Electrical impulses carrying information about touch finally reach the cerebral cortex at the postcentral gyrus, which is a part of the parietal lobe. Other parts of the parietal lobe perform higher level analysis of this touch information and integrate it with other sensory modalities. Interestingly, just in front of the primary sensory cortex is the precentral gyrus, which is the primary motor cortex that initiates movements. Our journey is now complete. We hope that Dr. Roten's pictures have helped you to understand how the sensation of touch reaches your brain.